we're not the catering company that you can come to and be like, can I see your menu options? How do we curate a bespoke experience for you? When I started the business full of creativity, and to run a proper business, you must have structure and you must be organized. Find your pace, find your purpose, and be authentic.
Fred Apaloo III is the founder, creative director, and gastronomist of Villa Grace by Fred Apaloo, a boutique catering and dining experience in Accra. He holds a degree in hospitality management and an MBA specializing in marketing. Prior to Villa Grace, he worked with Marriott in South Florida. A Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, he's known for pioneering intimate gourmet pop-ups, elevating culinary art in Ghana, and serving high-profile clients, including royalty and international business leaders. Fred, I'm so excited to share this day with you to celebrate your 10th anniversary of Villa Grace. So, I'd just love for us to get, diving in and just tell those who don't know about Villa Grace. What is Villa Grace? Who is Villa Grace? How did you get started?
Thank you. And thanks for having me. I watched the podcast, so I'm excited to be here today. So Villa Grace, we're a boutique catering company here in Accra, Ghana. And what started as a passion project or a passion business really turned to something else. And it's really all by the grace of God. I feel like I've been ordained to do this. Growing up, I always cooked. I always ate. I like to eat, but I also,
Same.
As a result, like to cook. So I've always cooked, and was always in the kitchen doing something. Went to school, studied hospitality, so I was always kind of in that business.
Okay.
Worked in that space for a bit, and then came back to Ghana, and then I didn't want to, do a traditional 9-to-5, which my parents were on my neck about, as you can imagine.
So from very early, you knew that.
I knew that I didn't want to work in the corporate, that was my calling. I had to do something more on the creative side.
Okay.
So I would cook. My friends would come, and I'd cook nicely too, almost like restaurant style, or at least so I thought back then, and I'd plate it nicely and things like that, and they'd eat. And then I quickly realized that there wasn't room. Oh, no, that wasn't room. There was lots of room, for a special kind of catering, an experiential dining type of service
Here in Ghana. Okay.
And I used to live in South Florida, and Miami. It's everywhere. Catering there even was just very unique, and dining and lifestyle, the mix of the two. So I started doing it just with my friends.
Okay.
They'd come and, like I said, we'd make it a thing. Then I realized
dinner, you
dinners,
call a
lunches,
few friends.
brunches. The first series we ever did was called Brunch Friends.
Okay.
It was every Saturday at my parents' house because I still lived at home, and my friends would come over and I would just make stuff, brunch stuff, and we'd sit. Everybody would bring a bottle of champagne or something, and then we'd all sit together and then the critique. This was too salty and that was this, and but it was fun, and we did it every Saturday, and then people started, kind of on social media, right? Like, can we come? Can you, So I thought, okay, I have to have an event. I need to do something that allows other people who may not be my friends to experience this.
Okay.
So then we had my first pop-up, in 2015. It was called the Genesis Brunch. It was just 20 people, and it was nerve-wracking.
And where did you do it?
It was at my aunt Jackie's house.
Okay.
Mrs. Akufu. She was very influential in like letting me feel like we can do this, don't worry. Because my parents were very against this. It's like, what do you mean you want to cook? They were very against this. So she was like, don't worry, like, we'll get this done. I'll support you. She gave me crockery, plates.
Oh.
It was in her house. She found extra hands to help me cook, and everything. And that went well. Of course, I fretted the entire time. And it was just 20 people. The crazy part is it was just 20 people. But it was such a task, But
I think that's the thing, 20 people, but doing it well to the level of quality can be actually more difficult than doing a mass kind of lunch,
true.
Right?
But at the time, when I look at the menu then to now, I can do it by myself. So I don't even think it was anything extraordinary. But I think at the time it was
your first
it was
public,
so big, right? And it was basic, but yet. It was basically a complex, and it's because it was the first time, as with many firsts, you're always scared, you're nervous, all of that stuff. But it went well, and subsequently, there's a different pop-ups. You've been to the Magna Carta, right?
Yes,
which
beautiful
has been the end of now.
How many years has it been now?
Magna Carta now 7 years.
7 years, okay.
So I think the 8th, this in January now, will be the 8th.
Okay.
Or the 7th, one or two. But, so the Genesis was the beginning of all of what started all of that. And that was a very small event. So, that started. Then we started getting interest in catering. Can you do a small birthday party? Can you? And we would do that, 20 people, 30 people.
Okay.
Then our first big one was the late Atumold. He was launching his new office, and it was 100 people, 120 people. And I kept thinking to myself, how can I do this? And his sister-in-law was friends with me, so she was like, you can, come on, you can do this. And it was just canopies. But 120 seemed like,
huge.
I was like, wait, what?
Coming from 20.
Right, from 2030, But we took it on, we went, we crushed it, and that was when I thought, okay, I think we can do this if we just really figure it out properly and have a plan. And so I started looking at it more as a business. And even though it was still very much passion driven, and it still is now, the focus changed a bit to how do we run this as a business, a creative business. And that's what kind of propelled us into what we become and where we're going as well.
Because you've become a household name in Ghana now.
Have we?
Yes. I mean, I've been to many an event where I've seen, Villa Grace set up, and these are not related parties, and I've seen more and more of that. And you talked about being a boutique catering firm, starting with 20, 30 guests, going to 100 plus.
So I'd
like you to share how you've managed to keep it boutique in a sense, because obviously the larger the number, the more difficult it is. But I've seen that this is one of the areas you're particular about. Can you share your thinking and your approach?
So for us, being boutique and giving bespoke experiences is really at the heart of the brand. And it starts with the first time the client interaction. So we're not the catering company that you can come to and be like, can I see your menu options? We don't have menu options. Right. Everybody's different. So we're not going to send you, like a lot of the other companies do, send you a brochure with many different options you pick from. What do you want? How do we curate a bespoke experience for you? How do we tailor it to your needs, your taste, who's your audience? And so we ask all these questions. Who are you inviting? Who's coming? We care more than just giving you food and saying pick menu A, B, C, or D and going. And so all of that creates that experience of bespoke boutiqueness, and just how we even deal with the clients when they come, and making sure that they feel heard, seen, very special. It's not just food. We're really giving you an experience, making sure that it speaks to you, to the general theme of the event, whatever that may be. So we're also liaising with your event designer to ask them what the mood board is looking like, so we can try and make sure we're also fitting into the aesthetic and all that stuff. So that's really also a part of what we do, besides trying to give quality food as well.
So when you you give quality food, rich food, full of good stuff, and then it also has to look good. Is there ever a trade-off for you?
Sometimes there has to be. If you want to do business in Ghana and stay in business, sometimes there has to be trade-offs, right? Because Ghana's not everybody understands a lot of these things in Ghana. So we have ways. There's but I always try and let the clients understand exactly where your money is going. And there's clients who care more about the look and feel than the menu. So we'll always give you the best, but we'll find ways to
make it work.
Yeah. Let's not do this lamb chop, let's do this. Let's not do this cut of steak.
Right.
Let's do this because this is more expensive. And so it's about just communicating, being open with your clients so that they understand what they're getting, and what the options are, what the costs look like for the different options. It's a conversation. And I think a lot of people in food service don't do that. Okay. They send you menus and you just pick. I like to have the conversations. And sometimes the conversations brings about a better outcome for me. Because the client now understands and is like, oh no, I actually want even better than that. I want this.
So it allows
in conversation, you're able to say, we also have this, and this. We have access to this. Oysters, one time a client was like, oysters. I'm like, of course we can get oysters. And we did. Okay. But if you don't have those conversations, they feel very limited just by what Ghana often has to offer. And that's not the case. We'll bring you whatever you want. If you'll pay for it, you can have whatever you want.
So let's talk about that for a bit. What is your approach to sourcing?
So we source from all over. Okay. It depends on what we try and get the best from all over. It depends on what we're looking for. We have suppliers here. Okay. We work with the women of the sea in Tema, the port. When it's fresh produce, if it's good enough, we'll take it. Nigeria has also really good prawns and stuff, fresh produce. Togo, Then there's also the international suppliers who also give you like langoustine, things that you won't find around here, or the finest steaks and lamb, salmon, and things. So it depends. Fruits and vegetables as well, same thing. What we can get fresh, we get. What is not available here by growth or quality, we have to bring it in. So
and has the supply chain improved for you over the years?
It has.
Partnerships.
It has. It's more competitive. People are going into business. Things that we used to bring in now are readily available here as well. So over the past 10 years, people have definitely seen the loops in how they can have businesses and bring in, right? And I think Ghanaians generally like good food as well. So now you find people's homes, they're shopping, the best of the best
Not
for their own. Not
keeping it just for Sundays.
Yeah, it's for their homes. So there's a
yeah.
market for that kind of stuff now. And that's why I think people have been able to open businesses that are doing well. Okay. And so now we don't always have to, we can do some last minute gigs and buy the stuff here. Where, we don't have to deal with suppliers abroad all the time.
Okay. But where you have to, you've been able to build partnerships. You're able to get things quickly and so on.
South Africa, Luxembourg, different countries, different places. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you faced?
Customs.
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 Especially with
air
fresh
freight. Yes, the freight, customs, the pricing, inconsistency in pricing. And costs, those, how things work around here. So,
but have there ever been any disasters that look like you may let down a client because of this?
I erase those kind of things by memory. Let me have a think.
You've been lucky.
I'm sure we have, but I don't know.
Not to the point where it looked like an event was going to.
Everything, the show will always go on, and whatever happens in the back, the client will never know. Okay. It's never been. I'm also very much an organizer, so I plan ahead. Right. I don't like last minute. There used to be a time when if a client came like 2 weeks out, we wouldn't even take the gig because I don't want a situation where I'm going to disappoint you. You're coming to us because based on expectation, right? And you know what you want, you know what you're expecting. So if I can't deliver, I'm not even going to just take your money and say yes and then do it haphazardly. Okay. If I know that we won't be the deadlines to bring in stuff, I'll be like, there's not enough time. Now, again, there's also a lot more on the market. So it's easier to kind of figure it out and pull something together and offer something that you can deliver with what we have. But before, so all of that avoids room for disaster and things because you're kind of staying on track with
and I'm picking up on the word, organized, because you do appear to be very structured, well organized. At the same time, you clearly have this, in what you do, and you shared it yourself, that creativity, that creative streak, you've had it, all your life. So I'd like to just tap into your mind a little bit more and where all of these different levers came from.
Okay, in terms of creativity, organization?
Both.
I think creativity, I've always been creative. I think I've always been, even in school, like I wasn't a student who enjoyed science or math, or I like probably the arts, things like that. I was more, I was more keen because it was more expressive, and I didn't like. Funny enough, I didn't like structure. Right. I didn't like being boxed into structure. So I was a talker. My podcast always talks too much. I always had something to say. I'm a free spirit, I suppose you can say as well. And so when I started the business full of creativity, I had to learn structure and organization because now I wanted to run a business. Okay. And to run a proper business, you must have structure and you must be organized, right? And when you start dealing with clients and you want to execute at a certain level, you must have structure and you must be organized.
So did that become instinctive, or did you get help from...
No, it became instinctive because also for the creativity to manifest in its purest and best form, there has to be organization behind it. Right? If we're not planning, if we're not even drawing out the set, in some cases drawing it out, sitting with the guys in the warehouse, selecting the individual pieces that we're going to use to achieve this look, it stays in my head. So I realized that I see this in my head, I've dreamt it, I understand what it's going to look like. But if I'm not communicating to the team and planning ahead, how I'm going to get the site, I'm going to have the wrong. It could be as little as a flower vase, but this is not what we're supposed to use. It's that one. But if you're not communicating and planning, they're going to just take what they think is best, right? And then you know, or your earthenware, your buffetware, little things, or even the style of the buffet table or your lights, you know, it could be anything. And so that made me realize that we have to have systems in place. So when an event comes and it's confirmed, the different parts of the office are moving. You know, the kitchen starts moving, getting their shopping list together. The warehouse guys have come to you and say, listen, we see this event. It's a buffet or it's a plated service. There's 7 courses. You know, they'll have all the sample plates laid out. So we'll go through now for which course, what plates are we using, and they'll have their stickies that we'll use to label them. So then they'll then take that to the warehouse and pull the actual stock out and start cleaning them ahead. And then when we get to the event, they know how to arrange them because course 1 is on this plate, course 2. So everything is organized. Smooth. So I'm not shouting. I'm not, you know, I know they know that once the next course goes, they start the second course plates are coming out. Things like that. And for a buffet, same thing. They come and they ask, you know, what's the theme? I'll share pictures maybe for a day or 2. I'll say, just, you know, let it digest it. Just look at the pictures yourselves as well and see what comes to you, you know.
Wonderful.
So by the time we sit down, I draw them in.
The process.
So, and you have to, otherwise, because you can't do it by yourself. So by the time we sit to meet, they've also thought, oh, you know, we brought the samples of these flowers, we brought some of these vases, we brought this, and then sometimes we're aligned, or sometimes when I grate, we can do this. And sometimes I'm inspired by what the actual process as well. And then we build from there. Beautiful. Sometimes we'll do a dummy setup. So we'll go downstairs, we'll lay the buffet out, we'll do everything, and then we'll take pictures so that if I'm late to set up or something, they can do it. They can kind of put it together.
And you take pictures for pre-setup just to, you know, be able to use it as a benchmark, but also post-event. I've seen a lot of beautiful food
so that's what
photography.
we get at the event.
Right.
So the photography that you're seeing is day off, is live. So the setup that we do has no food, but it has, you know, the design elements. And so if we're using fresh flowers, which we often do, for example, we won't have that. So we'll have all the earthenware and the different stuff there. We'll have the flower trays. If we're carving it in an S, it'll be carved in an S, so we know that day we're only filling it, you know, things like that. And just so that we're very organized, we're ready, you know, so we're just plugging in stuff that day.
So now post-event, when you've got these beautiful photos, how do you think that's helped you, you know, drive your business?
Social media, I always say, has built, Villa Grace particularly has been built off of Instagram and word of mouth, but really Instagram. And also finding the right photographer. Shout out to Sly. But he understands, he's the only photographer because food photography is very difficult.
It's different,
He's the only person who's been, and he's learned it over the years, because he's not, the way he captures today isn't what he did when he started years ago, you know, 8 years, 9 years ago when he started working with us. But he now understands exactly what is meant to, he understands how to tell the story, you know, and it's almost feels like you're there when when I see the photos myself. I feel like, okay, I'm there. And that's what we want.
I can see it. I can almost taste it.
Yeah, that's what we want the audience to feel and look at it and be like, oh my goodness. And
well, from my humble perspective, you've done it very well.
Thank you very much.
It's one of those, you know, friends used to share, and then I would then share, and you know, look, if you're looking for some, you know, something nice, something special for an event, and it's really remarkable, because I mean, in many other parts of the world, they've been doing, you know, this level of food photography. Yes. I know about food photography from my industry as a marketing communications person. When we, you know, do photography for food, it's so special. But I mean, doing it in this way for events, it's been something. And I think you started something. In a sense, you've blazed a bit of that trail here in Ghana. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
You know, what would be some of the other things that you would, you know, call special over the last 10 years, looking back at this journey? What are some of the things that have made you particularly proud? And you know, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently in
proud
the last
moments?
10 years?
We're proud. Every production is one to be proud of for us. We're blessed with every client that comes to the door, and we try to treat everybody the same. You know, my favorite events are always the big budget events, because they allow you to be expressive. They allow you to create and to dream, so those are always my favorites. Highlights of my career, 2 years in, when I was listed to Forbes 30 under 30, you know, that was nice. That was and that was kind of propelled me to feel like Africa's watching. And, you know, I'm doing something right, and I'm doing something, you know. And it was very early. I was at 28, I think I was, you know. So it gave me a lot of ginger and the boost to keep pushing and keep going. So that was nice. Things that I would have done differently. I think in the beginning I was a little too trusting.
Okay.
You know, of staff, of friends. You know, you overshare ideas, you overshare, and there's always a fine line because I feel like gatekeeping doesn't help anybody. But you know, the market here in Ghana also teaches you otherwise, and life experiences teach you otherwise. So maybe just be a bit wiser with kind of
how you share.
Yeah, maybe keeping some stuff that you find important, closer to your chest and things like that. But otherwise, look, this entire business is all by the grace of God. Everything that, even when you've made mistakes or you've had regrets, somehow we've come out victorious.
And yes,
you know, and I say that I always say that I was created to do this. I feel like I was created, like God put an oil on my head to do what I'm doing. And so I walk in faith without fear, you know, and every day I get up and I just go and I do. And
it's a strong statement, you know, because I speak with a lot of people. I understand the food services business, hospitality business to a degree. My mum was in hospitality, and I know how difficult this industry can be. You know, one little mistake can ruin a lot. And then you have to rely on people so heavily, and at the end of the day, it's people that will either make or break, you know, your business.
Absolutely.
So it can be extremely stressful. So, you know, the fact that you've been able to kind of build a team over these years has been quite important. I think, you know, maybe you can talk to us a bit about how you shared already the fact that you bring them into the ideas, into the processes. What else have you done to be able to build this team over the years?
My management style, I think, is I have a family style. I don't even know if it's one of the real styles of management, but for us, it's a family style. Okay. We work as a family. Okay. You know, I'm very open and very honest with my team, from the chefs to the office staff to the warehouse staff. You know, I have an open door policy. So at any point, they can all come into my office and talk to me about anything. Everybody knows my number. They WhatsApp me, they call me, they text me, they send me pictures of their personal lives. You know, I try and make them feel, well, I do really care about them because I know that I can't do this without them. I need these people to do what I do. And over the years, you find good ones, things happen, Ghanaians, people, you know, not even Ghanaians, people, you know, sometimes are not trustworthy. Different things happen. People let you down. But you must always remember that shouldn't be the basis on which you generalize opinions for everybody else, because there are some good people as well who remain. I've had people who've been with me the entire 10 years, some 7, some, you know, so there's still good people in the business. And you have to recognize that and appreciate that and pour into them as well as much as they pour into you. And so I operate that way in the office. My staff, I really pour into them. And they know I pour into them. I'm tough, I'm no nonsense, and that's because I expect excellence at the end. And they understand that, that, you know, if we say, brunch or lunch or dinner, brunch or lunch should be served at 12 o'clock, we mean 12, not 12:05, not 12:01. And if we're late, there's consequences, you know, and they happen. Sometimes we are late, but then on the back end, for them, there's consequences. And they know that it's unacceptable. They know that 12 o'clock for you is 11:45. You know, that means we're lined up and ready to go at 11:45 if the client has said 12. So if that doesn't happen, there's consequences on the back end for them. But they also understand why. Because when they go to other events or they go places where there's double catering, so maybe there's another company, they come back and they're like, you know, boss, you know, they appreciate how we do our things, and they see why we do things the way we do things. So they also sometimes realize that, you know what, we're unique. We're a unique company, you know, and they're proud of that.
Exactly. The end result, there's a pride, and they recognize why they do.
And that's the most fulfilling part, is when they themselves are proud of themselves. Not because I'm saying, well done, guys, but because they feel the sense of pride themselves.
Beautiful.
You know? So
beautiful.
Yeah.
So Fred, I wanted to talk a bit about Magna Carta. I mentioned it earlier. When I hear Magna Carta or I see the flyer pop up, you know, for the upcoming events, I think of gastronomy meets entertainment meets fun. But tell me what it is from your perspective, and how did you start that?
Okay, so the Magna Carta was actually birthed from other series events that we had. We first had Dear Summer, then we had
Summer.
Endless Summer before we had the Magna Carta was born.
Okay.
So my first pop-up, maybe the second one with Genesis, we worked with Luc Belair, which is Rick Ross's champagne, company or champagne brand. And then from that, like folks at Verve and Moet and stuff, they reached out to us, and said, listen, we would like to do a series event with you. So the first event that we did with Moet was a Dear Summer event.
Okay.
It was like a sit-down lunch. It was more, tame and calm and stuff. And then the year after, we amped it up, and it became like a brunch party.
Right.
And that was Dear Summer. Then we did Endless Summer. That was there was
first,
3 a year.
Okay.
So 2 of them were with Moet, and then the last one was with Verve.
Okay.
So we had Dear Summer in June, before summer.
Okay.
Then we had Endless Summer, September, October, after summer. And then 1 year, they brought the Verve Clicquot brand on board and said, what can we do? And I thought, okay, let's do a hip-hop sunset party.
Okay.
I think the first one was a brunch party, but Ghanaians don't come...
They don't come that
Ghanaians
early.
don't show up for, so it changed. It became a sunset hip-hop, party, and it was more about lifestyle, fashion, food, entertainment. And that's how it started. And then it just, year after year, grew. And the diaspora got, into, because it was their chance to also attend our events, right? Because in Christmas, January, they're in town.
A lot of people come,
and so it became, it just kind of blew up, and it became, everybody wants to be there, but we also have to keep our numbers controlled and keep the experience controlled. And so it's become,
it's true, people mark it on their calendars.
Oh, yeah.
I had to reach out to you once to add my name to it.
Yes, you did. So it's one of those things. So now, and it's very controversial, because everybody thinks it's always sold out, yada yada yada. So now we offer it to our clients first.
Okay.
We let our clients have the first dibs. People who patronize our business throughout the year, they get first dibs, and then after that, we put the rest out to the public. And so the public, I get a lot of heat for
No, but it's a beautiful event. I think it kind of follows your theme of doing things. It's this time it's not just the food that looks good, it's the place,
it's everything. And
it's the people. People make an effort. They really, they plan their outfits, and
keep doing that, guys.
Beautiful, So you've worked abroad as well. You said you used to live in South Florida.
I used to live in Boca Raton and Miami.
Okay.
Both. But
did you have any stints in any restaurants there before you?
No. I worked for the Marriott, and I hated it.
Okay.
And I hated working in hotels.
Okay.
Different ball game from catering, by the way. So I did that and did not like it at all. But since Villa Grace started, we've gone to the US as Villa Grace for about 5 events.
Nice.
Which has been nice. So the client flies us out. We go, we do. My wife lives in the US, so she becomes like a sous chef, U-Haul driver, all of that stuff. Yeah. And then we hire some local talent as well. And we've had 5 very successful events in the past 4 years.
And you mentioned that clients have, taken you to do them. And have you thought about doing your own curated events over there as
ultimately, that's a part of the plan as well. And I think we're actively working on it now to do a nice pop-up event in the US, maybe next year.
And since you kind of have a clientele from the diaspora that come and experience your programs here, you probably have at least a foundation.
We definitely do. Even with the private events we've had there, it's based off of a client base essentially. So we're building a client base there. We have a client base of people that at least come here. And so I don't think we'll have a problem with people.
Wonderful.
Once we get to
so beyond that, are there any other plans on the horizon?
So now we're 10, and I keep thinking to myself, okay, the next 10,
next
what does
10?
It look like, right? I have a restaurant. I have La Gardenia, which I co-own with Frema. I want to go more into the restaurant business as well. I want to.
So it's not you don't. The stress doesn't get to you.
You're
strong. You can.
It does. But I'm passionate about food service. So it's with everything that you're passionate about, there's always a stress factor, right? It's just the way life works. And so, but I like the restaurant because it allows you to be creative in a different kind of way. And you can change your menus and have seasonal menus, and you can have different concepts, So I'm focused on building that part of my career now, is the restaurants. I want to write a coffee table book, just more different things than just. I mean, the catering business will still remain, but I want to
build the ecosystem around it.
And then focus more also doing this abroad. In the US, in the UK, we get lots of inquiries, lots and lots of them, but there's also lots of people who don't want to pay to fly you out. So if we find ways to establish ourselves in some of these markets, whether it's through partnerships or through seasonal, programs or something, at least we're available, to these new markets.
I have no doubt you will do it.
We're working hard at it. So hopefully it comes to fruition.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Fred, what are your favorite foods? Give me just 3.
Favorite foods: fufu and light soup. Number 1. Okay. I can eat fufu every single day.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Everyone's always surprised too. But I can eat fufu and light soup every
I don't think I've ever seen it on one of your tables.
You won't. But it has my heart. I like street food. I like red. I like street food.
Okay.
It's funny. I get tired of the food that I make
because you're making it all the time. So,
I'm more.
So your reds become special for you.
Yeah, like I like to go.
But what's number 2?
By the gutter. Number 2.
By the gutter.
Yeah, like I like. I like the real deal. Number 2. Maybe Asia. Let me say Asian.
Okay, Asian cuisine.
Yeah, Asian cuisine. Okay. It's broad, but it's good. There's different pockets in there that I enjoy.
But more like Southeast, like Indian or like Thai,
all of
Chinese.
Them. And I like different things from all of them. That's why I'm saying let's
really
leave it broad.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I like different things from different parts of Asia. And then number 3, Mediterranean maybe.
Okay.
Ish.
I'll join you on the Asian, and I would say particularly after living in Indonesia, I realized just how broad their dishes are and how rich and how delicious. You're taking me back on a journey. Lots of flavor. Lots of flavor.
It's very, very tasty food.
And now for your clients and customers, what do you think are their favorite dishes from Villa Grace or from La Gardenia? In fact, both.
Let's do Villa Grace.
Okay.
Our mac and cheese, definitely. Our oxtail.
It's one of mine.
And then I think our oxtails. I think those 2 are often talked about.
Top dishes. Beautiful. So tell us, for those who have been, following you, what you do, aspire to do some of the things that you do, or for those who are maybe looking into going into the hospitality industry or food industry, and just people looking to, set up on their own, any words of wisdom, any advice you'd give?
Find your pace, find your purpose, and be authentic. Authenticity is it's often lost around here, but it's important to always know who you are, what your purpose is, what your drive is, what your mission is, all of that, and stay true to that.
It allows you to say no to the things just that you were saying earlier. If you know that you cannot do it in the style that you want to do it, you won't even accept it.
You're not easily swayed. And so it's important to know those things and be authentic to yourself and to your brand.
Fred, thank you so much for sharing, not just with us today, but all these delicious and wonderful experiences. I call them experiences because it's not just the food, but it's everything you bring. I congratulate you once more on your 10 years, and I look forward to the next 10. I hope I'll be part of it in many, many different ways.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the Magna Carta next year.
I can't wait. Thank you.